Am I the a-hole for refusing to make my daughter issue an apology to the class clown and telling the mother her daughter is a brat? My daughter Ava, 14F, is a good kid in general. She gets good grades and is pretty quiet at school, sticking to her friend group and not causing issue. This is why I was surprised getting a call today that I needed to pick her up since she got in trouble at school. Basically what happened was, the class clown, Mia, was messing around in class by dancing and singing during class for no reason. The teacher was in the middle of a lesson and tried to get her back to her seat, but Mia just ignored her and kept going. My daughter had enough and told her to shut the frick up. No one likes her, and she is the reason no one enjoys school. A student recorded the whole thing. Mia ended up crying, and to principal office they were both sent. The principal wanted my daughter to give an apology to her. I told them absolutely not and that we are leaving. This started the mom telling me her daughter needs an apology. I told her that her kid is a brat and she should learn how to behave in class, that if she wasn't annoying as all hell my daughter wouldn't have snapped after her doing crap like this for 5 months. She called me a jerk, and my daughter is iffy if she should apologize or not, so I am making this. Are we the a-holes?
Am I the a-hole for telling my mum that my sister's friend and I will never get together? Mike, 19M, sister's friend, 18F, has been over at our place regularly ever since kindergarten. I once asked her out about a year ago, but she said no. We're still close though, no tension or anything like that. Here's the problem: I tutor her in history since she is studying the same course I did, with the same teacher and same reading materials. My mother, who adores her and wants her as a daughter-in-law, insists that I try again. I told her no, because she already rejected me once and there is no reason to ask her out again. She said I should try complimenting and flirting with her when I'm tutoring her. She called it the perfect opportunity. I rolled my eyes, told her mom, there is no situation less romantic than two teenagers discussing Lenin's biography. You really expect me to hit on her when I'm helping her with her papers and preparing for final exam? Mum still kept pressing, so eventually I told her it will never happen. My dad later said that maybe I should have pretended to think about it, and that false hope is better than no hope. Am I the a-hole for telling my mum this?
Am I the a-hole for siding with my daughter that she doesn't need to invite her sister to the popular table? Both of my daughters are in high school. My oldest, Cindy, is 16 and my youngest, Emily, is 14. Now Cindy is quite popular. She is on the volleyball team and has a huge friend group. My youngest isn't very popular and her friend, Beth, is her main friend or ex-friend. It also doesn't help that she is into hobbies most other high schoolers don't care about: knitting, tree shaping. She was in art club but quit. I have tried several times to get her into other clubs. She usually just quits them all. Emily and Beth got into a fight and Beth is not speaking to her anymore, so she is sitting alone at lunch now. This came out yesterday and my husband wants Cindy to invite her to sit with her group of friends at the popular table. Cindy refused, saying she doesn't want to do that. My husband was mad, but when he tried to get me to back him up, I told him Cindy has every right to not want her little sister in her friend group, that you can't do that to her and Emily needs to make her own friends. Cindy and Emily have a good relationship in general, but she just doesn't want to invite her to the lunch table. My husband is pissed at me and Cindy. Emily is super upset that she doesn't have people to eat with, and I am wondering if I made the right call or if I am being a jerk.
Am I the a-hole for sending screenshots to my friend of his girlfriend on a dating site? My girlfriend and I went for drinks with a mutual friend last weekend. At one point the talk turned to the friend's dating life, and he was talking about matches he got on dating apps. My girlfriend went to the toilet and my friend started showing me his matches. I noticed one of them was the girlfriend of another mutual friend of me and my girlfriend. My friend took screenshots of her profile and sent me them. I mentioned it to my girlfriend, and she said it was weird that she was on there and that it was wrong. I sent the screenshots to the friend as I thought he deserved to know. When I told my girlfriend, she got angry and said it was none of our business and we should have kept out of it. I just pointed out that if it was one of us on a dating site, surely we'd be happy that someone told us what was happening. She just repeated that it was none of our business and that I shouldn't have gotten involved. Am I the a-hole for sending the screenshots to my friend? Am I the a-hole for making it clear that if he keeps the grandkids away then he will not be getting an inheritance? I will try to keep this short. My son and his wife's house needed repairs, so they stayed with us. Before living together, we had a good relationship. The problem came when his wife wouldn't follow the home rules. They are pretty simple, like clean up after yourself, don't be loud at night, and the big one was no drinking in the home, no alcohol in the home. We made this really clear, and my son knows his mother has trauma related to alcohol. We informed daughter-in-law in general terms as well. The first few months seemed fine, and it turned for the worse when the weather got cold. We couldn't prove it at the time, but we were sure they were drinking. It came to head when my wife was cleaning. She found an open bottle of wine in the attic. She was pissed and poured it out. Apparently, it was a $300 bottle, and it caused a huge fight between her and daughter-in-law. We let them stay until the renovations were done, and they left about 2 weeks ago. The relationship has been tense, and I figured we just need time apart. My son met up with me and told us we can't see our grandkids, 9 and 11, anymore, that the incident made him rethink our relationship. I told him that was bullcrap, that he knew the one big rule in the home that caused stress to his mother. He told me it was final. So, I told him if he goes through with this then he will be out of the will. This started another argument, and he is pissed at me. Am I the a-hole? Edit. You guys were right. Wife took a picture of the bottle of wine when this happened, so we looked it up. Turns out it is about $25, not $300. Also, wife wasn't snooping, this was an attic and she was cleaning. They were staying in a guest bedroom. I'm guessing they kept it there to keep it colder. Am I the a-hole for kicking out my fiance's sister and her dog for refusing to buy me a new controller? Me, 20, and my fiance, 21, have lived together for the better part of 3 years, but I only recently met her sister, 16. She recently got a puppy but cannot for the life of her raise or train it. It tears up our cat's toys whenever her sister brings him over. I bought a scuff controller after I received a big enough paycheck, since normally I can't afford anything for myself. After shipping, the controller was around $230. I went to work while my fiance stayed home due to being sick. She asked if she could have her sister over and I said yes as long as she doesn't bring the dog. Well, I get home and see her sister brought the dog over. They leave after a few hours and my fiance goes to bed, only for me to discover my controller busted and chewed up, no longer working. The next morning, I confront her about it, and she tells me that the dog got to it, but only for a second. I call her sister and ask if she could pay for the controller, as her dog has already caused several $100s of damage before this. She rejects my request. Later, my fiancée became mad at me because her sister told her I asked her to pay me for the controller. This has been an issue for months now, and it seems every time I bring it up, I'm met with the same response. Puppies chew on things. It's just what they do. Do you want the dog to pay for it? As well as ridicule. So, I banned her sister and the dog from coming over again. No more of that nonsense. At this point, everyone is angry at me and saying how hateful I am for a one-time issue. Am I the a-hole? Edit. I didn't think I'd have to say this, but I obviously don't expect the dog to pay for the controller, just the sister. Am I the a-hole for saying, do these mashed potatoes go on the pie crust? My wife made a strawberry tart with leftover pie crust that we made together. She made a homemade custard to go with it. My wife and our kids were excited and enjoying the tart. When I was finishing up with some work, I sat down to join them and said, do these mashed potatoes go on the pie crust? A stupid joke, I know, but the extra custard had the same look and consistency as mashed potatoes, and my kids seemed to like my silly sense of humor. After that, I mentioned that we needed to pay a certain bill that is due in 4 days, and asked if there was rice in the custard. My wife got angry with me, and started throwing insults at me and dragging up years-old grievances such as when I mentioned that deep-fried food is unhealthy when she made fried chicken for dinner one night, etc. My wife has remained angry the whole evening, saying that I poured water on their fun with the remarks I made. It was just a stupid joke based on an observation. I wasn't criticizing my wife's effort or the quality of the food. I wasn't trying to hurt her feelings, but she is upset, and she is also shocked that I can't understand why she is upset. So, am I the a-hole? Am I the a-hole for refusing to kick my friend out so my sister-in-law can rent my house? So, me, 34M, and my wife, 34F, moved to a different city last year for work-related reasons, and left the house I inherited from my parents. Since we moved to a smaller apartment, we had to leave a lot of stuff there. When we left, we decided to rent the house to my wife's younger sister so she could see what it's like to live on her own, so the rent she paid wasn't much, just symbolic. In exchange, we would stay in the house when we visited, and she would look over the stuff we left behind. 7 months later, she decided to return to her parents' home. No big deal. At the time, a friend of mine was going through a very rough patch, so I offered my house, with the same conditions, and he accepted immediately. Fast forward 9 months, and my wife's older sister decides she's leaving her husband and going back to her parents with her son and dog. My wife wants to offer her our house my friend is renting. I said I wanted to help. I even offered to chip in for her to rent her own place, but I can't just simply kick out someone who hasn't done anything wrong. My wife got mad and said that her family is above any friend. So, am I the a-hole for refusing to kick out a perfectly good tenant to give my house to a sister-in-law who, as far as I know, won't even pay?
Am I the a-hole for breaking my brother's camera after he hid it in my bedroom? I, 18F, was in my room last night when I saw my brother's, 14M, camera hidden in my bookshelf. My brother hadn't even been home all day because he was sleeping over a friend's house, so I knew it had to have been there since the morning. I checked the footage and sure enough, it had been there all day recording everything I did in my room. I also had my boyfriend over that day, and we were intimate in my bedroom. I was furious with my brother for invading my privacy like that, so I deleted all the footage and smashed his camera with a baseball bat. I wasn't sure if he had a way of getting videos back after they were deleted, so I just wanted to make sure it was gone. Also, I think he doesn't even deserve to own a camera if he can't follow the #1 rule: don't record people without their consent. When he came home today, I confronted him about it. He said that there is a trend on YouTube where people hide cameras in their siblings' bedrooms, and he wanted to do it for his YouTube channel. When he found out I broke his camera, he called me a beach and said I overreacted. He said that he could have gotten famous if he posted the video on YouTube. I told my parents about the whole situation, and they also think I took it too far by breaking his camera, but I still think he's the one who took it too far by invading my privacy. So Reddit, am I the a-hole? Am I the a-hole for not wanting my stepkids? A little backstory, my stepkids lived with me and their bio dad for 4 years. They were with us full time and their mother saw them every 2 years for 7 to 10 days. There were a lot of problems for a number of reasons, one of them being their mother's interference and absence, but also, we were not blending well as a stepfamily. It was high conflict and frustrating for everyone. Their mother took them after 4 years, against the court, and has had them for 5 years. They have not spoken to me or their father in that time. We have not seen them or heard from them, and they live in a different country with their mother. They are 14 and 18 now, and their mother decided she doesn't want them anymore, again. Am I the a-hole for not wanting to take them into my home again? I'm agreeable to visits, but I don't want to take on the responsibility of stepkids again full-time, especially because it caused a lot of conflicts and arguments between me and their father. My husband wants to take them in again, but is a lazy, incompetent parent, and I won't be put through that same situation again.
Am I the a-hole for proving that my wife can't do my job? This issue started when my 27M wife, 29F, left for a week for a girls' trip. The kids, 6 and 8, are all in school and I took over as the main caregiver when she was gone. It went well, and when she came back she asked if I had trouble. I told her no, and everything went smoothly. This started an argument about how I thought it was so easy that she was a stay-at-home mom. It wasn't a good time, and I already was pushing her to go back to work part-time since the kids were in school. We have talked about her starting to look around summer. The issue now is I work from home twice a week, and every time she sees my screen, where I complain about work, she tells me she can do it easily. I have talked to her about it and nothing changes, that if she did it would go smoothly. I thought back on our argument and have asked her about it. She denies it has anything to do with it. So, she won't stop, and I had enough of it today. I was trying to figure out why there was an error in my code. She saw what I was doing and told me she could do that. I told her to go ahead, made a copy that she could work on. Well, she tried for about 5 minutes until she gave up. I reiterated that if she can do my job, find the error. This started a huge argument about making her look like an idiot, and now she isn't talking to me. I don't understand how else I could get the point across. I have already talked to her about this. I already communicated, and she didn't stop. I told her my feelings on this multiple times. So, am I the a-hole? Also, for those asking, I already help with the housework every week. This wasn't a new thing for me.
Am I the a-hole for telling my parents that my kids won't attend Christmas if everyone can't attend? My husband was injured when we were in high school, almost 18 years ago now, and has to use a wheelchair. We have 4 children, his 15-year-old son from a previous relationship, an 8-year-old daughter, a 5-year-old son, and a 1-year-old daughter. My parents usually host a big Christmas every year with all of the kids and their families. Sometimes it's at their home and sometimes it's at a vacation destination. In previous years it's always been accessible for my husband, but this year they've chosen to have it at a mountain ski resort that is largely inaccessible and would have a lot of activities that would leave my husband out. Even the lodging that they chose is inaccessible. So we told them we were going to do our own thing for Christmas this year. No biggie, right? They responded with, how about you send the kids, and you can do your own thing. We responded that we wouldn't be sending our kids, and that if we couldn't all attend, nobody would attend. They're upset and accusing us of withholding the kids from something that brings them joy and being bad parents. So, are we the a-hole?